Okay, well, I'm Kevin Reilander. My connection is 1985 Pontiac Grand Prix called Sweet and Sour.
How long did it take you to mask out all of that?
The patterns took 7 full days. The paint job took me every day for 7 weeks.
Sweet and Sour was never meant to be. One of the guys from Diplomats who had the 1985 Pontiac Grand Prix didn't want it no more.
Oh.
It didn't have much in the way of juice, had wires on it, and the paint was screwed. It was full of micro blisters. So he didn't want it, so I gave him a few £100 for it, and thought I'd build myself a cheap lowrider. That takes me up to the beginning of Sweet and Sour. And I was just going to do a cheap street ride. And I sourced this paint, an orange pearl. And I wasn't even going to paint this car myself. So I gave it to my buddy in Portsmouth to paint. Well, they wrecked it.
Oh.
More banding in that paint than it was done with a rattle can. It was awful. So I'm like, okay, well, there goes that pan. But I got a good orange base. So okay, well, I'll do metal flake. So couldn't get enough orange flake, so I ended up getting 2 different oranges, mixed it all together. This is why you can't repair Sweet and Sour.
Yeah.
Because Metal Flake, the company, I bought their last 4 or 5 jars of their tangerine flake and put it together with some House of Colour flake and painted it, and then I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to call this car? It's orange. Well, I like sweet and sour sauce, so so
No way.
let's put something maybe spiky to try and connect to the sour side of it, with an orange interior that will connect to the sweet side of it. So, yeah. It just evolved on its own. It was never, ever, ever meant to exist.
So, other than Sweet and Sour, I mean, we chatted before and you said that there was other vehicles. I mean, you've done a lot of more custom car projects as well, is that right?
2 scooters in the 80s, 2 Lowriders. Second one was more custom than the first one. The first one was just like a skeleton with a metal flake paint job. The second one was a cut down, done much better. That one was called Gone Bananas. And then at the just towards the end of the build of Sweet and Sour, I painted Kev Reilander's Concert Capri, which was a custom, so that's all purple, metal flake roof, out here, the money out here, especially when I got here, was in choppers. I mean, it's compared to doing cars, you can knock them out so much quicker and charge. They're more expensive to do than cars, but they're less work. So it was the right move. So I built myself a chopper from the ground up. Unfortunately, by the time I finished building it, the recession hit, and all the businesses, all the chopper shops out here, all shut down.
Oh.
So, which is one of the reasons for coming to America, was to start a business, and yeah, I fell flat on my face on that one. It's bad timing. Then I've done like custom paint for other lowriders in San Diego, roofs, things like that. Restoration stuff. Novas, just mainly work for other people, not for myself. The only thing I've put for myself out here was that chopper.
It's good to have that diversity and sort of like try your hand at a few different things, because you can also then cross over, so you can use like something you may have learned doing a Lambretta or a chopper into a lowrider. And it all.
Yeah. I mean, it's knowledge, and if you can cross over the knowledge, that's great. I mean, it gives you an edge on projects compared to the next guy. So
yeah,
it's always worth paying attention to what's going on in other scenes, because nowadays, especially nowadays, you can cross over, and it makes for interesting projects.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you were a member of the Diplomats and Unity back in the UK. How did membership come about, and what was it like being involved in a club in the UK compared to, say, America?
Well, I'll tell you now, it's a lot different here. Being a member of the Diplomats just came about because of the two guys living in Portsmouth, and I was going down the same road as them.
Yeah.
So, but in the end, I wasn't going down the same road as them. It's like I had Sweet and Sour built. One of the guys, the one who had the Granada, ended up with the caddy. And I painted that candy in a burgundy brandy wine fade from front to back with all patterns and posted patterns in it for him. But they were going nowhere as a club.
Yeah.
Winston, who was the real leader of the club, had a less than average American car, a G-body. I can't remember what it was. I think he gave me that car as well. Yeah, because I could selling it on to somebody else. So like, they're all selling their rides off and things like that. Bill with the mini trucks, he had the most potential. I built him a rack for his mini truck that was at least a 6 feet scissor rack with a Z rack on top.
Oh, like a bed dancer.
It went 12 feet up in the air. And I built that in a garage, just laid it all out. It worked great. But I don't think it finished the project, which was a shame, because it would have been crazy to see that thing out. Oh, and going back on the clubs, I mean, I used to hang out with a club in San Diego, and they are very, very family orientated. And they are tight.
Yeah. Almost like a family in themselves.
Oh yeah, they've got each other's backs like you can't believe. I mean, I know a lot of clubs. I know rollers only out here from Dallas and from LA. I know Oos from LA and San Francisco. I used to hang out. I used to live with one of the San Diego car club guys. Who was an original Oos. The mentality out here for them guys is totally. Whereas, it's I think England's is more fun, whereas America's lifestyle.
Yeah, they take it really seriously, don't they? It's difficult here. It's more of a hobby that you'd like to be in the lifestyle, but it's just not the same. You look at it in America, you think of the history and the years and the families. One thing that somebody pointed out to me was that you rarely get in outside of America family lowriding. So a dad who's had children who then lowride, whose children then lowride. Whereas in America, it's generations, it's families, who lowride. Whereas in the UK, one guy will do it for 10, 15 years and then that's it.
Yeah, that's the major difference between the two countries. It's like you're in deep here.
Yeah.
Never got it. I mean, we did a few cruises. So I didn't do a whole lot with the guys, only because I knew the history. I mean, I found out when I came to America, it was to hook up with one of the rollers only in Dallas, and not very friendly people must have got here. They were friendly as hell in Germany.
Yeah.
And wanted me to go into business with them. But when I got here, they were like, turn the TV off at 8 o'clock and turn the lights off and say goodnight. I'm like, 8 o'clock at night? Yeah, this lowrider, Hakarachi. Well, I found out when I got to San Diego, they all got arrested for drugs and dealing, and they had all their lowriders confiscated. The club in Dallas tried to get into the house to try and save some of the lowriders, because this guy had like 3 or 4 of them, all top notch. And yeah, I'm glad I wasn't there. Best decision I ever made in America is leaving that house as quick as I did.
So how did you end up in Unity then? Was that just a connection with Brave?
Yeah, well, I knew John and you know, some of the other guys, and we were in Bristol for
Low Life, was it?
yeah. The first one, the PlayStation.
Sponsored by PlayStation, yeah, that's right.
We were all there, and we just spoke, and I ended up hooking up with them. It's like, you know, I want to roll a banner. I don't see the point of me running Academy. That, you know, that it wasn't going to happen. I'm not going to be the only one in a car club that's out there.
Yeah.
That's what it was with the Diplomats. You know, I was the Diplomats in the end, because nobody else was doing anything. So it's like, okay, well, I want to be in a club that's going to, you know, represent itself at shows. You know?
Yeah.
So it was a common sense decision to, okay, let me hook up with Unity.
Cool.
So, and also, I mean, like you mentioned as well, I mean, Unity were more likely to be going in my direction. What I was doing was sweet and sour as opposed to Lords.
So if we move on to like more of the details then, because obviously like if we were to get like wire wheels and like plating done in the UK, it's like super expensive now. You really struggle to find a decent chrome shop or like platers which will do like a set of wheels for less than a good amount of money. So back in whenever you built it, was it hard to sort of like source these suppliers of things and get things plated, or? No.
The wire wheels, I was a dealer for LA Wire Wheels.
Yeah. Oh. Easy.
I mean, I got them wheels real cheap from my man out in LA.
Yeah.
So the wheels were never an issue.
Yeah.
As for the gold plating, if you look at the early photographs of that car, it doesn't have gold bumpers and that. I bought myself a gold plating kit, and I gold plated all the front end and the rear end.
And probably saved yourself a lot of money.
Myself, I mean, it's came out great.
And what about the interior? Like, what gave you the inspiration to go with like the orange pleat and sort of like, is it a bit, I think there was sequins in there, was it sort of like mirrored sequins?
Mirrors.
Yeah, like mirrored. 1
inch square mirror tiles.
Yeah.
Must have taken.
Way through the centre and on the dash around the dial cluster. No, it just seemed, you know, I wanted coffin plate, wanted deep button, wanted mirrors. It was the way to go. It was, if you look at all the cars that were out, especially in America, it's what they were all doing at that time.
Yeah.
Coffin plate, deep button and mirror.
Yeah.
So,
did you do the interior?
Yeah.
You did it all yourself?
I did the whole car.
No way.
The only job I did not do on that car was etch the name Sweet and Sour in the opera windows on the side. I did the rest. The inputs in, the hydro install, the bodywork, the paint, the interior. I did it all.
So, Kev, can I have a go then?
No.
Can I have a go at that then?
Definitely no.
What happens if I press that one?
You die.
Okay, you're right.
I must have been about 18 when it was featured. Well, it says there, 19 years old. 19 years ago, it was in Custom Car Magazine, December 2001. I was 19 when that magazine.
It's a groundbreaking issue. Because if you go and look at the history of Custom Car Magazine, they don't feature American cars.
Really?
All right? So it's the first time they'd ever featured an American car.
Wow.
Especially put it on a, because they're like hot rods.
Yeah.
Especially putting it on the cover. And it had been a couple of decades since they'd used a girl. So that car broke a lot of ground.
Yeah. I remember the girl because my girlfriend at the time, I bought the magazine and she snatched it off me and got a marker pen and coloured the girl in. Completely bonkers. I was 19 at the time. I was like, what's wrong?
And that wasn't the original model. The model, I don't know, it was ill or something like that. So we get up there and they're like, well, we need a well. So they end up running down to the titty bar down the road and pull the stripper out of there.
That's brilliant.
And then Kev, the editor of the magazine, me and him are sat there looking at her like, dude, she's got an awful, ugly smile and funky teeth. You've got to tell her we're trying to have the more serious approach here and don't let her smile in any of the photographs. So let's go and look at all the photographs. She's got her mouth shut because we told her to keep her mouth shut.
Oh, no way, man. That's incredible. What a story.
But I mean, it's what you get for pulling some old skank out of a tree.
I mean, I doubt it'll happen, but I hope she never watches this video.
I can imagine she doesn't look the same now.
I don't care. Come and get me.
And it was in TV adverts as well. When it was a Kit Kat advert or something.
Yeah, it did Kit Kat. And then we did Pulling Power. We did Fifth Gear.
Wow.
And we did MTV Base.
No way.
And 3 TV shows. Was it Fifth Gear? Fifth Gear's been shown out here as well because I was here for like 6 months. And we were sitting there with my friends in San Diego and all of a sudden the cars on TV.
No way. That's crazy.
That Kit Kat ran forever. I'd always be getting phone calls. People went, Kev, I'm at the cinema and I've just seen your car. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he did that with Jimmy and Ammo from the Twilight Players.
Yeah.
What a weird connection that is.
Yeah.
They've obviously now they've got Ken Tippler's 62, they've got the B-Reel 65, and then they've got a bomb as well, but I don't really know a lot about it. I wonder if it's another brother who's got a bomb.
I think we had rides back then. We did that advert.
And probably the coolest guys in the whole UK lowrider community. When they roll up to a show, they're like, oh, look, some lowriders have turned up, whereas we're all just some nerdy white kids in lowriding.
Sweet and Sour is arguably like one of the most iconic cars in the UK. It's probably laid the foundations for a lot of builds and inspired a lot of builds here in the UK. What does it feel like knowing that you've built such an icon in the UK sort of like lowrider scene? Does it make you feel sort of like you're blown away or you're humbled by it or...?
All of the above.
Yeah.
I mean, that was... I was blown away and humbled when I built the car. I mean, because I built that car just to have some fun in it. Me and my son, at the car shows, whatever. But every show I did for 2 years, there's always a write-up in Street Machine or Custom Car or both. for the show. So every show, and I went to a lot of shows, there's a picture of my car in the magazine.
Yeah.
But for 2 years, you couldn't look at either of the magazines for 2 years without seeing a picture of my car. Some reporter was at the Brighton event that we did. Then there's the TV stuff, and then the TV stuff started to be signing autographs when I'd go to shows. Some obscure show in the country I'd go to. I support a lot of small shows as well.
Yeah.
Some kid would walk up with a magazine, can you sign this for me?
No way, that's amazing.
And then Germany, I get paid £5,000 just to appear at their show.
Wow.
Insane.
Plus expenses. And then I'm for 10 days and I'm signing autographs for 10 days. And then I did the LEG thing. On his premiere in London. So like, they're all the stars are like, you're going to come to the after party in Mayfair.
Wow.
Follow us. We get there, the organisers of the whole event say, your car, yeah. All right, I want you to clear this front of this road here in front of the hotel. This car's got to sit here. And then I'm invited in. I mean, they're all celebrities in there, dude. And they're treating me like a celebrity.
Wow.
Insane.
I mean, prior to actually going in, I drove Brian May from Queen around London a little bit.
Wow, no way.
So, all very humbling. I didn't build the car for none of this, and all of a sudden I'm like famous.
Yeah.
I think you just built what was required at the right time. So
and it blows me away now, to this day, that every year, once, maybe twice a year, there'll be a topic on Facebook about my car.
yeah,
And there'll be people chiming in, loads. It's not like a short post with half a dozen comments. It's loads of people chiming in. And it happens every year. And it's been happening every year since I left America, since I left England.
well, it's a legacy, isn't it? You build something at that level, and then kids like me, at my age, being 17, 18, 19, just starting driving and being interested in custom cars, and I could have done hot rods, classic Fords, or anything, but it was cars like yours in those magazines that blew me away. It was more than a car, really. It's as close to a lifestyle for me as a car scene can be. It's hard to describe, really, but when you put that much effort into something and put your own personal stamp on it and then take it to shows, that's what people recognise. It's not necessarily the car, it's the effort that's gone into making that so individual to the person who's built it. And then I think, but I want that. I want to drive Brian May around London. It's not necessarily celebrity status, but most people build cars because not only do they like it, but they're trying to get some form of recognition for the effort that they've put in. So getting in a magazine, I've in all my years, I've only ever got in one magazine once, or winning a trophy, or somebody the tattoo. Somebody had a tattoo with your car, and somebody did that with mine.
Crazy.
Nuts. Why?
I blew me away when I saw that. You don't mean the damn thing's right across his back.
It's huge.
I mean, it's
in Australia. I got a tattoo artist. He says, I don't remember who the guy is. I remember him bringing in the Lowrider Magazine and doing the tattoos. I don't know who he is, where he went, but yeah, that's my work.
crazy.
Dang, dude, I used to have a car up here somewhere that big. This guy's gone bang.
Yeah.
Champ stamp across the bottom of his bag.
Well, he's seen that, and that's the picture from Custom Car Magazine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's seen that and decided, I want that as a tattoo.
He set photographs in Custom Car, because Custom Car sold Lowrider Magazine the same photographs.
Did you get a full feature in Lowrider Magazine?
Yeah, because you make the cover.
Right, okay.
Inside it's a 4-page.
So is that the only? Do you recall any other UK cars that have been in Lowrider Magazine?
Yeah, Andy Saunders.
Yeah, he's bomb. So 2. In the history, I mean, obviously, Lowrider Magazine in print doesn't exist anymore, but...
I have the edge. I know there's the coffee table book.
Oh, yeah, you got in that. Yeah, that's right.
See, I got in that, the history of lowriding.
Yeah.
I don't think he got in that one.
That's crazy. It's crazy for me when I see, because what's the documentary that was on, that's been on Netflix?
LA
I forget
Originals.
what it's called. LA Originals. John O'Ron, who's like the Dutch Unity. He's like the lowrider messiah of Europe. He features in that video, and for me, those little glimpses of UK and Europe getting in a video or getting in a magazine or a book like yours is massive for me. It's huge. Yeah. Those bits of recognition is I'd love to see more of that.
How that Lowrider Magazine table book, more than being in LRM itself, to be included in a book that's a one-off book about the history of lowriding, and then my car in there, that's priceless.
But as I said, as a result of that, you've got the likes of like Barry and Stevie D and people who saw your car at that time and were like, that's it. That's what I want. That I want to be involved in that. I want to do my own version of that. It's huge.
Yeah.
Inspired the next generation of UK lowriders, really.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Most certainly still is. It's still inspiring people now, like you say. Even in its current circumstances, which we'll get onto, people see that and it still gives inspiration. The fact that people talk about it, the fact that it gets conversations going and it gets chins wagging, and that's what gets people interested. Why are so many people talking about that car that's sat there like that? Because it's cool.
It'll never go away.
No, never.
The car will never go away. It will always be there.
Every time it's posted up, people are saying, is it for sale? Can I buy it? And that whole conversation comes up of what the situation is currently with it. And it's just a merry-go-round every time.
I mean, I don't know how long I've got left.
Mm.
My illness and that, but I would love to buy that car right now.
Yeah.
And all of his money at once. Every penny of it. And I would bring it here and I would rebuild it, and I would do a European tour with it, and I'd put it in beauty rooms.
But the problem is the price.
Yeah.
The asking price.
I haven't got the money, but I really need to be the one to do it. Really.
Yeah, to do it justice.
Well, ideally, if we've tried so many different ways to convince the owner to sell. And hopefully, I mean, you might watch this, and it might pull on his heartstrings, because he's over there now anyway. He's in the USA. Whatever connection he's got to it, whether he does own it or somebody else owns it, and he's got too much invested in it, I don't know. But I don't think it's in that bad condition. We've seen it relatively close up. We didn't go through the gate, but we had a look at it, and it doesn't look that bad. Obviously, the paint needs redoing,
So it's a bare
but
the interior's screwed now.
Yeah,
it'll be down.
It's going to be mouldy and nasty.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't look like. I mean, testament to the paint. It's not bubbling. There's no scabs. From a distance, this is, but you can't visibly see that the paint is scabbing or bubbling or lifting, or there's severe corrosion going on. In fact, a lot of the gold plating's stood up to the test of time. The wheels haven't, but a lot of your chrome plating has. And to be fair, stick a set of wheels on it and give it a wash. You could MOT it and drive it. Well, you could.
Yeah. I would love to. I'd love to find myself in a position to get that car back out and get it here and bring it back to life.
Yeah.
It needs to be saved, and it needs to be put in a museum. It needs to be. It's a huge part of lowriding, as we said.
Yeah.
And something like that needs to be saved, because there won't be another one.
No.
It's true. It's an iconic piece of history for lowriding.
We can
influence that it's had.
Back the clock 20 years. All you can do is save what came from that period. So,
yeah.
I mean, the influence that it's had and the time that it's spent, the 20 plus, when was it first built? About 25 years ago?
No, it was finished in 2000.
Just 20 years?
20 years.
20 years since it was built. And within those 20 years, it's never really left the public eye. Whenever somebody walks past and takes a picture on the mobile phone, like you say, it blows up. People are talking about it.
Yeah.
And with the history that it's had, the magazine that it's been in, TV work, the influence that it's had on the current lowrider community, which is probably bigger than it's ever been, and wider than it's ever been, from high-end £60,000 Impalas all the way down to kids still building old Jack cars and whatever it is they can buy, and the influence that it's had on Raven Hydraulics. I'm sure that the amount of work that people have sent his way, and it's just it's had such a positive influence on the community. To see it sat there in its current state, it's heartbreaking for me. I mean, obviously is for you.
Yeah, it's sad. Well, I keep buying lottery tickets, but I'm not.
Yeah, I might have to start.
I guarantee if we win the lottery, we'll be the first people to get it shipped back to you.
That'd be great.
We'll come and film a build series for you.
But it would. There you go. Well, that's the deal. I'll win the lottery and then we'll do a rebuild series.
Right, well,
we are there. We are there, Kev. Well, I think that's a great point to sort of finish up the interview. I just want to thank you so much for your time. Like, some of those stories are absolute gems, which it's just all builds up this whole lowrider history, and we're going to like put something together now, and hopefully we'll do it justice and tell your story as well as the car's story has got its own legacy, which should hopefully live on as well. But yeah, we're going to start, I reckon, a Hall of Fame, and hopefully put you up there as one of the founding members of the Lowrider UK Lowrider Hall of Fame.
Be a huge honour.
If there's anything else that you want to input, any other stories and stuff, just drop us a message and we can set this up. This has been fairly straightforward. This is the first time that we've done one of these, and we hope to do more. But if at any time if you've got any more input or something, you think, oh, I remembered this, or funny stories are the best, because people want to hear that stuff. That's the real. As much as the cars are cool, it's the people.
Stories like me driving back from a show through London and somebody throwing an egg through my window.
Jealousy.
That sort of stuff.
Actually, right the side of the head, and then there's an egg all on top of my, all on my orange trail on, dude.
No.
Why would somebody have an egg red?
I jumped out the car, chased him down the road with all egg dripping down my face.
But anything like that, it's the stories that make it. The most fun that we've ever had is when we've been doing stuff. The cars are almost like a conduit to that community spirit. We get in the cars, we go and do something mental, and we all remember it.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything else that you want to input, you drop us a line, and we can set this up pretty much to fit in your time frame. And yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure talking to you both.
And to you.
Thank you for what you're doing for the lowrider community.
That's brilliant. It's a passion. We're not doing it. We're not doing it to try and make money. We're not here for that. We want to build the UK community and get recognition worldwide, and bring. I think a lot of the world don't see us as having history, because at the end of the day, we're just white kids with old Ford whatevers.
No one took the UK serious. I mean, they took Japan more serious.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Japan have bought into the lifestyle, the long white socks, the baggy shorts, and
you've seen photographs of little Japanese kids dressed up like mods.
Yeah, you love it. Love the lifestyle.
You couldn't tell them apart until they speak and then realise that they are actually Japanese, and you're like, what? Even Australia, Australia's got a huge lowrider following, and also New Zealand.
And it's totally illegal in Australia.
Yeah.
Same with Germany.
That's why you have bitch stamps across your back. Can't have the car, you can only have the tag.
Show use only. Wicked.
Cool. Right.
Kev, thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time, mate. Really do.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers to you, Kev.
Touch.
See you soon, mate.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pepsi.